When men cross into their 50s, many start to notice changes they didn't expect. One of the most common, yet rarely talked about openly, is the decline in erection quality. Some assume this is simply aging, that the body naturally gives up on performance with time, and that there's nothing they can do. But the truth is, age itself is not the enemy here. What really holds men back are the hidden lifestyle habits and gradual changes in the body's circulation that quietly build up over years. The good news is, once you understand what's actually going on, you realize that stronger erections are not only possible in your 50s, but even at 70 or 80, if you give your body what it needs. Think about it this way. Your erections are like a reflection of your overall vascular health. The arteries in the penis are much smaller than the ones in your heart. So if your blood vessels start to stiffen, narrow, or weaken because of poor diet, lack of exercise, smoking, stress, or even poor sleep, the first place you'll notice the problem isn't in your chest, but in your performance. That's why erectile changes often show up years before someone is diagnosed with heart disease. It's your body's way of sending an early signal, a red flag that circulation is compromised. Instead of ignoring it or writing it off as just getting older, this is the time to take action. Now, let's be real, most men have built up habits over decades that slowly choke off their circulation. Processed foods, high sugar, lack of fiber, carrying extra weight, sitting too much, and not prioritizing movement all play a role. Stress floods your system with cortisol, which interferes with testosterone and blood flow. On top of that, sleep often gets cut short, which is when your body should be repairing tissues and balancing hormones. Combine all that, and it's no wonder that by 50, 60, or 70, many men feel like their bodies aren't cooperating. But here's the empowering truth: you're not powerless. These factors are not set in stone, and with the right adjustments, you can reverse much of the damage and restore function. When you look at men who maintain strong erections into their later decades, it's not luck. It's the result of taking care of circulation, fueling their bodies with the right nutrients, keeping weight in check, and staying active. Erections depend on smooth, elastic blood vessels that can deliver blood quickly and efficiently when arousal hits. They depend on the release of nitric oxide, a molecule that signals those vessels to open up wide. If your lifestyle habits are damaging the endothelium, the delicate inner lining of your arteries, nitric oxide levels plummet, and blood just can't flow the way it used to. The solution isn't found in magic pills, but in rebuilding that foundation step by step. It's also important to acknowledge the mental side of this. As erections start to weaken, men often feel a hit to their confidence. They start to avoid intimacy or approach it with anxiety, worried about performance rather than enjoying the connection. This creates a vicious cycle because stress and worry further impair erections. Breaking this cycle means reclaiming control, proving to yourself that your body can still perform, and feeding it what it needs to respond naturally. The encouraging part is, change can happen faster than you think. Your blood vessels are alive, responsive, and capable of healing if you remove the obstacles. Simple changes like adjusting your nutrition, adding key natural ingredients, moving daily, and prioritizing rest can reignite blood flow in weeks, not years. And the difference you feel isn't just in the bedroom. You'll notice more energy in the morning, more stamina during the day, and a stronger sense of vitality that touches every area of your life. So, when we talk about why so many men over 50 experience weaker erections, the truth isn't that you're too old. The truth is that circulation has been compromised and your body is simply asking for support. If you give it what it's asking for, if you take action now, you'll be amazed at how much strength and vitality you can get back, no matter what your age says on paper. Because your erections are not just about intimacy, they are a mirror of your overall health. And when you fix that, everything else begins to thrive. Now, let's talk about the ingredient you can actually add to your morning coffee that makes a real difference. Coffee on its own already has some benefits. It wakes you up, it sharpens focus, it gets blood moving a little faster. But when you combine it with the right natural ingredient, you can turn that morning ritual into something far more powerful, something that supports your circulation, boosts energy, and directly strengthens your erections. This isn't about taking a pill or relying on temporary fixes that only mask the problem. It's about fueling your body with something that works with it, not against it, so you start to notice lasting results. The ingredient I'm talking about is loaded with compounds that enhance blood flow. It naturally boosts nitric oxide, the same molecule your body releases during arousal to expand blood vessels and allow for fuller, stronger erections. Think of it as giving your vascular system a helping hand, ensuring that when the moment comes, blood doesn't struggle to get where it needs to go. By stirring this into your coffee, you're not only getting the alertness of caffeine, but also amplifying its effect with something that nourishes your blood vessels and hormones at the same time. Many men underestimate the power of circulation, boosting foods and herbs. They look for quick pharmaceutical fixes, but what they don't realize is that nature has already provided ingredients that achieve the same goal without side effects. The best part about adding it to coffee is that it becomes effortless. You don't need to change your entire lifestyle in one night. You simply make a small tweak to something you already do daily, and over time, that small choice compounds into big results. It's consistent, and consistency is what the body thrives on. When this ingredient begins working in your system, the first thing most men notice is an improvement in energy. You feel less sluggish in the morning, more ready to take on the day, and that alone builds confidence. But beneath the surface, something even more important is happening. Your arteries are becoming more flexible, blood is moving with more ease, and oxygen is reaching every tissue more effectively. Erections depend on this process. Without strong blood flow, nothing happens. With it, everything changes. That's why men who adopt this routine often report not just harder erections, but also a return of morning wood, one of the clearest signs of healthy circulation and hormonal balance. Now, think about what that does for your mindset. Every morning you wake up and your body shows you that it's alive, responsive, and strong. That gives you proof that what you're doing is working. That proof builds momentum, and momentum keeps you going. Instead of guessing if something is helping, you get daily feedback from your body, and that feedback is incredibly motivating. It's what keeps you from slipping back into old habits. Another key benefit of this ingredient is how it pairs with coffee's natural stimulation. Caffeine increases circulation by raising heart rate and blood flow, but on its own, that effect doesn't always translate to better erections. By combining caffeine with a natural vasodilator, you're making sure that the energy from coffee isn't wasted. It's being directed into something that supports performance. It's like stacking two allies together, both working toward the same outcome, and here's the beauty of it. You don't need to overload your body with high doses. Just a small amount added to your coffee is enough to start shifting things in your favor. Because your body doesn't need extreme measures, it just needs consistent nudges in the right direction. Over weeks and months, those nudges accumulate into healthier blood vessels, higher energy levels, and stronger responses when intimacy calls. This is why so many men who try this are surprised by how much of a difference something so simple can make. They've spent years thinking they need drastic interventions, when all along, the solution was as easy as enhancing a daily cup of coffee. It's proof that better erections and better health don't always come from complicated routines. They come from smart, consistent choices that feed the body exactly what it's been missing. So, the next time you pour your coffee, imagine what it would feel like to turn that simple habit into a tool for rebuilding strength, circulation, and confidence. Because that one change could be the spark that brings your vitality roaring back. One of the biggest reasons men struggle with declining erections as they age isn't just about testosterone, it isn't just about stress, and it isn't even only about circulation. It's about what's happening inside the body at a deeper level. Over the years, small habits compound, inflammation builds, and the tiny blood vessels that are responsible for carrying blood into the penis begin to stiffen and narrow. Think of it like rust slowly building up in a pipe. At first, you don't notice it. Water still flows. But over time, the buildup gets worse, and eventually, the flow weakens or stops altogether. That is what happens when we ignore the power of nutrition. The good news is that just as small habits can create decline, they can also create repair, and this is where the food you add to your morning coffee becomes a real game changer. This special edition doesn't just help with circulation in the moment. It works behind the scenes to restore the health of your blood vessels day after day. It's filled with natural antioxidants, compounds that fight the oxidative stress and inflammation that choke blood flow. Every time you drink it, you're essentially sending a signal to your body to protect, heal, and open up those pathways that have been neglected for years. Over time, that process is what makes the difference between temporary improvements and lasting vitality. Most men don't realize that erectile strength is one of the most powerful indicators of overall health. If your erections are weak or inconsistent, that's not just a sexual problem. It's your body's way of warning you that circulation, vascular health, or hormonal balance isn't where it should be. That's why solutions that only address the surface never last. But when you take something natural that goes right to the root, your blood vessels, your circulation, your nitric oxide levels, you're not only restoring performance in the bedroom, you're protecting your heart, your brain, and your energy levels too. That's a complete shift from just fixing a problem to completely transforming your health. And here's something even more inspiring. Consistency with this ingredient doesn't just restore function, it rewires confidence. Think about the times when you've hesitated, when performance anxiety crept in, when the thought, "What if I can't?" played louder in your head than your desire. That cycle of doubt builds on itself, but when you begin to feel stronger, when you start noticing your body responding with ease, that doubt starts to vanish. Confidence doesn't come from forcing yourself to believe, it comes from evidence, evidence that your body is still capable, still powerful, still alive. And this routine gives you that evidence day after day. Adding this to your coffee also has another hidden benefit. It trains your mind to anchor health to pleasure. Every morning, as you enjoy your coffee, you're also giving your body something restorative. Over time, that daily ritual rewires the way you think about taking care of yourself. It doesn't feel like work, it doesn't feel like sacrifice, it feels enjoyable, and when self-care feels enjoyable, it sticks. That's the difference between short-term fixes and lifelong change. There are countless stories of men in their 50s, 60s, even 70s and 80s who thought their best years were behind them until they started this simple practice. And within weeks or months, they started feeling the spark come back. The energy, the drive, the firmness, the confidence. They realized that decline wasn't inevitable. It was simply the result of ignoring what the body needs. And just as easily, They realized that restoration is possible when you give the body the right fuel. This isn't magic, it isn't hype, it's biology. The body responds to what we put in it. If we feed it foods that constrict and clog, we get weaker, slower, less responsive. But if we feed it foods that open, restore, and energize, we get vitality, strength, and confidence back. That is the choice you make every morning with that cup of coffee. And the truth is that choice is powerful enough to change not just how your body performs, but how you show up in life, in relationships, and in the moments that matter most. So when you think about the years ahead, don't settle for less. Don't buy into the idea that decline is guaranteed. With the right daily choices, even something as simple as what you stir into your coffee, you can reclaim strength, circulation, and confidence that lasts. When it comes to health, performance, and vitality, there's something we often underestimate: timing. We think about what to eat, what to drink, what supplements to take, but rarely do we stop and ask ourselves when to take them. Yet, timing is one of the most powerful levers we have to unlock the full potential of any habit. And when it comes to restoring blood flow, reviving erections, and bringing back youthful energy, the timing of this special ingredient in your coffee matters more than most people realize. The morning, for instance, isn't just about waking up. It's when your body is naturally primed to absorb, process, and distribute nutrients. Your blood circulation is starting to increase, your hormones are beginning to rise, and your cells are waking up after hours of fasting through the night. This means that what you put into your body in that first hour can either set you up for energy, focus, and vitality, or weigh you down with sluggishness and missed opportunities. When you combine your coffee with this natural booster first thing in the morning, you're essentially giving your body the exact signal it needs to expand blood vessels, increase nitric oxide, and improve circulation all day long. That sets the stage for stronger, more reliable erections, but also for overall energy and performance in every area of life. Now, here's the other piece: consistency. It's not about what you do once, it's about what you do every single day. Adding this to your coffee isn't a miracle after one cup. It's a practice that compounds. Day after day, week after week, your blood vessels become more elastic, inflammation reduces, your nitric oxide levels rise, and circulation improves. Over time, those small improvements build into a noticeable transformation. That's why consistency is the real secret weapon here. It's not about trying it out. It's about making it a ritual, a non-negotiable part of your morning, the same way brushing your teeth is non-negotiable. And then comes the deeper layer, the connection between morning rituals and mindset. When you start your day with an act of self-care, something powerful happens to the way you think about yourself. You stop seeing health as something you chase only when problems arise, and instead begin to see it as something you invest in before problems even have the chance to show up. That shift in mindset is critical, because when you identify as someone who takes care of their body first thing in the morning, your actions throughout the day naturally align with that identity. You eat better, you move more, you sleep deeper, and all of those things feed back into the very outcome you're looking for: stronger performance, longer stamina, and renewed vitality. It's also important to recognize that what works for men at 30 is not the same as what works at 60, 70, or 80. The body changes, hormone levels shift, blood vessels age. But what doesn't change is the body's ability to respond to nourishment and care. The morning ritual of coffee is something so many of us already have hardwired into our day. So why not use it to deliver exactly what the body needs to rebuild from the inside out? When you tie this natural ingredient to that ritual, you're stacking two powerful habits together, something you already enjoy with something that transforms your health. That's how change sticks, that's how results last, and beyond the physical, there's another transformation happening when you commit to this. You're proving to yourself that you're not giving up. You're not buying into the narrative that aging means decline, that passion must fade, that intimacy belongs only to younger years. You're declaring, through action, that vitality belongs to you no matter what your age. That belief isn't abstract. It's reinforced every single morning with every single cup. Over time, the results aren't just physical, they are emotional. Confidence rises, connection deepens, and life begins to feel vibrant again. So, while the ingredient itself is powerful, the real magic is in the timing, the ritual, and the consistency. Morning after morning, cup after cup, you're not just drinking coffee. You're investing in energy, circulation, and strength that carries into every part of your life. And the truth is, that's not just about erections. It's about everything that makes you feel alive, capable, and unstoppable. Because at the end of the day, it's not just about what you add to your coffee. It's about what that choice adds back into your life.